Hi, everybody, and welcome to the show. I'm Forbes Riley, and I'm here with my co-host and good friend, Mr. Kevin Harrington. And I know you've seen him as one of the original Sharks on Shark Tank.
And Forbes, we've seen you on TV for years as a fitness expert and TV show host, and we have a great guest today.
Yes, we do.
Mike Tomasello. He's a top thought leader on career success.
And everybody needs to know what he has to say, so please welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks so much, Forbes. Thanks, Kevin. I got to tell you, I'm so excited to be here. Electricity is running through my arms, my legs. And basically, I'm here today because I am on a mission to empower every man and woman to find that job that really fulfills them and it's a perfect fit. And it might not happen right away for every individual, but the sooner that we can do that, the more happier and fulfilled people we can have.
Well, you know, we start right out of school because you had a great college education, spent a lot of money on college, and the reality is there's not a job waiting for you at graduation like I thought there was.
No, my son, 4 years at Penn State,
right?
No job.
Oh.
Yeah.
So how do you step in and help, people get their dream job?
Yeah, that's a great question. So in terms of thought leadership, the primary ways that I carry that out are I am an international speaker, author, and career success coach. And like you were alluding to, one of the primary ways that I step in is I work with colleges and universities to empower their students to get them working better with their universities. So both the universities are improving in the quality of the education that they're pulling out, and also the students are a lot happier and more fulfilled as well.
When I heard the title of your book, How to Get Any Job, when everyone says that you can't, I said, I got to meet you, and this is such a great opportunity for you to tell everybody that's listening right now about your book and what it means to those out there looking to get that dream job.
Oh, thank you. I hear that from people a lot, from career centers, from students, and they look at the title of my book and they go, I want that for my students,
Yes.
or I want that or I want that for myself. And that's how the book came about.
Right.
Because growing up, my parents lived in a reality where neither one of them graduated from college. I'm a first-generation college student. And they basically had to take the first job that was offered to them. And luckily, they instilled a mindset into me where I didn't need to do that, but I still had some challenges to overcome along the way, as we all do. And through luck of accumulating some very successful mentors, one example, Senior Vice President of American Express.
Oh, wow.
I continued to accumulate mentors, and I'm like, wow, if I just go to the most successful people, I can apply their knowledge and probably get a pretty good job. And as you can imagine, that's what this is all about. Because despite the support of my parents, I still had those naysayers, those doubters that said, you can't do that. You don't have the right education for that. You didn't grow up in the right place. I mean, can either of you relate to that?
Oh, I think everybody
Absolutely.
can.
Yes.
So tell me, when you get out of college, or even in college, aren't there career counselors within the school that's supposed to help you make this transition?
Right, there are. And let me tell you about these folks, because they're actually amazing folks. They are heroes. They're bigger heroes than me, because they've been doing this day in, day out, many of them for 20, 25 years, and they're people of service. They really care about making a difference in the world.
They deal with hundreds and thousands of people at a time, so it's got to be just a very difficult position to have to fulfill.
Yeah, these staffs, let me tell you about these staffs. These staffs are underappreciated, under-resourced, and they don't have the budget they need to service the number of students they have. And I don't care if you're talking about a small liberal arts college of 500 students or the large public universities that have 30, 40, 50,000. All of them have ratios of anywhere from 100 students per staff member to 1,000 students per staff member.
Wow.
So the problem is obvious. How do you come in and help this?
Right, so that's primarily where the international speaking portion comes in. So I've spoken all over the United States, all over the world. I just went over my 10th country recently. Just got back from India, where I spoke to 750 students.
Wow.
And the universities come to me, a lot of them, the majority of them have amazing career knowledge and they're already teaching the right thing. But there's other problems that are holding the universities and the students back from getting about that. So if we have the time, I'd love to talk about that.
The client is your either university or the student coordinators. You work directly with them and then through them to the students. Is that how it works?
Absolutely. So depending on the university, it's usually traditionally either a career center director or coordinator, or in some cases, student affairs departments or large organizations or student government.
So I want to make sure that we don't run out of time because I want some nuggets when you're up there in front of those students. Tell me some keys that you tell them.
Yeah, so let me tell you the nugget and also relate it to the challenge of the university, if that'd be helpful.
Sure.
So one issue in terms of students no longer getting the value that they thought they were getting with education is not as many Americans are going and getting their degree as much as they used to. So universities are having to actually bring in way more international students than they ever have in the history of education.
Okay.
And this is a good thing for the universities because it provides them with revenue, and it's a great thing for the international students because they're gaining top educations where they can go wherever and be successful. Now, things like visa issues start coming into play and whatnot. And I guess one of the things that sets me apart compared to someone else that might speak to international students is not only have I been international headhunter and team leader, but I actually used to work with an immigration attorney. And so I know what your international students need to say and what they don't need to say to make sure that they're maximizing getting the job and getting it quickly.
So do you help the students position themselves with the potential employer in a different fashion, or what do you counsel the students on?
That is the perfect question, Kevin, because the number two challenge that universities have. And I've been surveying hundreds and hundreds of career centers. I've also been surveying employers around the country. And both of them are saying the number one challenge is students do not know how to communicate their value to employers.
There you go.
So is that something you actually teach or coach?
Right. Based on my success with managing a $1 billion product portfolio for a Fortune 100 company, I've taken those techniques and I've applied them to the job market.
Oh.
And so one of the keys in terms of thinking strategically with that marketing is actually getting, I call it, get the students to think like a blank.
Think like a blank.
Yeah.
Like a...
Yeah, great question. So, and that's what makes the system so amazing is the blank could literally be anything.
Give me an example.
So think like a blank. So if your student was graduating with a IT degree and they wanted to work for a manufacturing company.
Right.
So getting the student to realize that a company that's in the manufacturing industry and then their team leader that is managing the IT department, they're going to have a different need than a team leader of an IT department in a financial services company,
Okay.
which has different security standards and whatnot.
Right.
And so having that information, the students are able to match that message to what those key characteristics
That's
that
very
they're
clever.
looking for. Now, I show students exactly how to do that, how to meet the people that are going to give them that information to be successful in under an hour.
Wow. That's a pretty quick system. So I would imagine if this is something you've been doing, how many years now?
I first got my start speaking 18 years ago.
Okay.
And I recently went full-time a few years back.
Okay, great. So the universities that you've been involved with, are you getting continuity from these universities where they've said you've done a great job, come back, next quarter or next year?
Yeah, the universities love it because the other challenge we didn't cover is that, and it's arguably the number one challenge, is they don't have enough engagement with the students. And what that means is The Career Center puts on great events, lots of events, and not enough students are coming to the events, so not a high enough percentage. And in addition to that, they're not coming early enough in their academic career.
So I'd imagine they would bill you as this international success top thought leader, and they get all excited because you're going to be there. I want to hear how I get a job with you. As opposed
Right.
to just going to career day where you just meet the average local people. You're like, okay, that's not such a big deal. Big deal to talk to you.
And it creates a lot of excitement on campus.
Good.
And even though I'm internationally known, I want to make things as easy as possible for the career centers and the students to know about me. And so I actually customize marketing materials for the university. They get my marketing materials. They get a pre-written article for the student newspaper. They get emails to the students written for them. They get what to post on Facebook, what to tweet. And so they get this package and the students come.
So let me think about that. So if I'm a career counselor in school and I love my job, love what I do, but I'm a little overloaded, you've got this done for me thing so that I can get the marketing materials, the Facebook, the newsletter, all of that comes to me. All I have to do is kind of just activate it, because I imagine that would take a whole lot of time. And then you come, you're the icing on the cake.
Yep.
Students show up, they're excited. It's a total win-win for someone to engage you, isn't it?
Absolutely, it's a complete win, and I know budgets are tight with universities, and so it's a free bonus I throw in. It's literally something that, because of my marketing background, probably took me 5 years of knowledge to accumulate, and so the total value of what it's doing for them is probably in the $8,000 to $10,000 range.
You know, I have a testimonial here from one of your students from the Thunderbird School of Global Management in Glendale, Arizona. So she writes, I work at my number one, this is so important, I work at my number one employer choice thanks to Mike. Mike truly helped me so that I received an amazing job over candidates from top 10 schools. That is glowing. You must change people's lives, don't you?
I do. I get a little emotional talking about it and thinking about it, but that's really why I got in the business, is because when someone like that young lady writes to me and says that I've made a difference, and when Story came to hear me speak, and it was for an hour.
That's really. Do you have other stories like this that of people who've just had this kind of success?
I have a large number of stories, and they're available on my website.
Oh, really?
I want to ask you this: Do you specialize in any? Are there any areas that you would say you focus on or specialize in, like finance, banking, IT, or do you cover really every spectrum of job opportunity that's out there?
Great question. I have multiple programs that cover every single functional area and industry that study.
You focus your teaching based on the particular industry that somebody might have an interest in going into.
Right, and I customize that for the universities and the students, because I realize, the College of Engineering has different needs than the College of Business does, and really want to make it easy for them, and they don't have to do extra work to translate it. I do it for them.
I'm so excited by you that I would love you to look into my camera and tell a career counselor out there how they could get a hold of you, why they can get a hold of you, and just what you have to offer, just directly to them.
Sure, I'd love to do that. First of all, thank you for what you do for the world, and I am here to be a partner for your university, your career center, and your students. And if you reach out to me, I promise, free, no obligation, you will walk away with at least 3 new ideas that will help you increase your student engagement, help you with your international students, and help them communicate that value to the employer, so that we're creating more of those perfect fits between jobs.
Free sounds pretty good to me.
I'm very excited. I would be on the phone with you. Speaking of that, how do people get a hold of you?
Well, you can just follow the contact information at the bottom of the screen.
Perfect, and I advise that people do that to really help our students, so when we have those kind of kids. Mike, it has been just a true pleasure. I love your passion and your energy for what you do. Thank you.
Thank you,
Mike,
Forbes.
how to get any job, I love it, and everyone says you can't, but you tell them how to do it. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you, I was honored.